composed of regions 1, 2, and 3, Mr. Chairman. And during the time, we had already a discussion on this. And in that particular meeting, Mr. Chair, the president of, or the chairman, I just don't know if Director Kirang is the president or the chairman. He was also there together with some representative coming from Philhealth. And we discussed in that committee, we came up into like passing a resolution, which is this one, a resolution requiring the Philhealth, Philippine Insurance Corporation, to immediately pay the unpaid claims of all accredited hospitals in regions 1, 2, and the Cordillera Administrative Region. Because during that meeting, there are a lot of hospitals, not only government hospitals, but as well as private hospitals that has not been paid by Philhealth as far as like 2016 or 15, something like that, hindi pa ho sila nabayaran. That's why we came up into this kind of resolution, Mr. Chairman. But I would just like also to inform this body or this committee that just recently the Philhealth already gave us some action taken by Philhealth. Because in, like for example, in my case, one of the hospital, a private hospital managed by the Diocese of Bayambong, a Catholic, our Catholic Church here, closed already for 2 weeks dahil hindi sila nababayaran ng Philhealth. But it's a good thing that Philhealth at this point in time already get in touch with that particular hospital. They already were able to talk to our bishop. Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Quaresma, for your sponsorship speech. Next to espouse on our resolution is our Honorable Stella Luz Kimbo. Madam, Honorable Kimbo, you may proceed.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair, at magandang hapon po sa lahat. Una sa lahat, thank you po for taking up this resolution and recognizing the urgency in deliberating on the issues raised in this measure that I filed. The Philhealth is tasked to provide all Filipinos protection from health financing risks. Bago pa man ang pandemya, maraming mga Pilipino ang ayaw magpatingin sa doktor. Una, dahil takot na malamang may sakit sila. At pangalawa, dahil takot sa bayarin sa ospital kung sakali man. Simply put, the Philhealth's mandate is to drive all of these anxieties on healthcare costs away. In other words, dapat po makatulog ng mahimbing ang bawat Pilipino every night, knowing that kung magkasakit man sila, nandyan ang Philhealth. So it is clear that when this GOCC fails in its mandate, may Pilipinong di makakapagpagamot o di kaya'y mamamatay. Sa makatuwid, life or death ang tungkulin ng Philhealth, or a matter of life or death ang tungkulin ng Philhealth. Kaya dapat lamang na binabantayan ito ng Kongreso. As early as March 2021, before the second imposition of the ECQ and NCR+, private hospitals went on national television and called out Philhealth for its non-settlement of claims, allegedly amounting to 86 billion. Ayon sa Philhealth, ang dahilan daw po ay non-compliance ng mga ospital sa requirements nito. Ang sagot naman po ng mga ospital, kahit na nakapag-comply sila, hindi pa rin sila nababayaran ng Philhealth. Worse, Mr. Chair, according to Dr. De Grano, 28 billion pesos na po ang utang ng Philhealth sa mga private hospitals. Para pabilisin po ang pagbabayad sa mga ospital, naglabas ng COVID reimbursement policy ang Philhealth called Debit-Credit Payment Method, where they will initially pay 60% of the total in-process claims of a facility, while the remaining 40% will be paid to them after due compliance with the requirements. Ang problema, Mr. Chair, 9 billion lang ang ini-allocate ng Philhealth na mababayaran under the DCPM. Kulang na kulang para mapunan ang 28 billion na utang. Bukod dito, dapat mag-explain ng PhilHealth kung bakit kahit na nailabas na ang DCPM circular to expedite payments to hospitals, bakit lumobo pa rin ang utang nila sa mga ospital? Naging effective ba ang mechanism na ito? When PhilHealth fails to pay its benefit claims, hospitals reduce manpower and downsizes its capacity dahil lubos na nababawasan ang pagtustos para sa patuloy na pamamalakad ng mga ospital. So when PhilHealth fails in its mandate, COVID response takes a hit such that in some hospitals, it may well be that bed allocations for COVID patients dwindle, and we have Filipinos dying in tents in parking lots while waiting for proper medical attention. Hence, Mr. Chair, I filed House Resolution number 1769 for this committee to conduct an inquiry into the enduring benefit claims. And Mr. Chair, meron pa po akong isa pang House Resolution. Will I sponsor that as well?
Yes, yes. Please go proceed.
Thank you po. So the other resolution that I filed is numbered 1770, and it's corruption against PhilHealth officials in the administration of the National Health Insurance Program. Nanguna po ang committee na ito alongside the Committee on Public Accounts sa paghimay ng mga issues sa PhilHealth sa panahon ng pandemya. Ilan sa mga ito ay ang abuses sa ilalim ng interim reimbursement mechanism which aim to provide sufficient funds to healthcare institutions directly hit by COVID so that they can provide continuous healthcare services. Pero ang pinagbasihan po ng cash advance na ini-allocate sa mga hospital ay historical claims imbis na ang COVID claims. And this resulted in some hospitals receiving IRM funds despite not even treating a single COVID patient. The second issue is the possible overestimation of deficits of PhilHealth, which may lead to the overcharging of government for the premium subsidies. Ang sabi po ng PhilHealth 1 year ago in August 2020, the actuarial life of PhilHealth is good for more than 1 year only. In other words, malapit na daw mamatay ang PhilHealth. Pero sa Committee on Health hearing po last Tuesday, sinabi ng PhilHealth na as of December 31, 2020, may net earnings sila na 30.1 billion pesos. So kung pinaniwalaan natin ng PhilHealth last year, baka po tinaasan na nila ang kanilang pondo unnecessarily. Kaya malaking problema din ang actuarial projections ng PhilHealth at ang kakayanan nito na makagawa ng actuarial projections sufficiently. So third issue, Mr. Chair, is upcasing. PhilHealth, by allowing mere suspicion of having COVID as a basis for claiming COVID benefits, essentially legitimizing upcasing, and that is inimical to the interest of PhilHealth members. So in this light, Congress placed 3 requirements for PhilHealth in the special provisions of the 2021 GAA. We asked them to submit before December 31, 2021, 3 documents. The first is a management audit report. The second is a fund viability plan. And the third is an undertaking to undergo a third-party audit of its actuarial projections and benefit packages. So yun po ang objective po ng resolution. Gusto natin malaman ang status po ng compliance ng PhilHealth pagdating sa 3 na-mention ko po na special provision ng 2021 GAA. So yun lang po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat.
Yeah, thank you, Representative Quaresma and Representative Kimbo. We vow to seek the truth about this and go to the bottom of all these issues with PhilHealth. So before the interpellation, I'd like to give the floor to the PhilHealth led by President Dante Garlan. President Garlan, are you here, sir?
Present, sir. I'm present.
Yes, sir. Before we proceed with your opening statement, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the members who came in just now. Representative Angelina Natasha Ko, Representative Lollipop Juan Odison, Representative Vice Chair Johnny Pimentel, Representative Gabriel Bordado, and Representative Quaresma. Sir, President Garland, you can proceed with your opening statement.
Attorney Dan Tihiran po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Honorable Chairperson, Michael Edgar Aglipay of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, all other distinguished representatives, to my colleagues in the Philhealth present today, esteemed guest, gandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. We thank you for inviting us today. We are committed to study all recommendations that will be arrived at into this hearing. And please be assured that all this will be used as guide as we continue with our reforms at the PhilHealth. Your Honors, PhilHealth remains steadfast in its mandate of providing all Filipinos adequate financial protection against health risk. We acknowledge that we cannot do it alone. We need our hospital partners so we can carry on with this noble but gargantuan task. For without our healthcare providers, we will not be able to fulfill this very important mandate for the Filipino. Claims processing is an important responsibility that we dutifully do for our partner hospitals. However, we need to see to it that reimbursements are in order and compliant to rules and regulations. This is an fulfillment of our fiduciary responsibility as a steward of the people's contributions. We do not deny that there are delays in a number of claims, but these delays are not without valid reasons. However, we do not take this as an excuse. As part of our commitment to our healthcare providers, we are always ready to make adjustments for as long as warranted and not in conflict with the rules and regulations. We continuously find ways to ensure that claims are paid within the prescribed period of 60 days as mandated by law. As we are also heavily affected by this pandemic, we have tapped additional human resource to augment our processors in the regional offices, partner with identified LGUs, among many others. We have also implemented mechanisms such as the ARTA as part of the e-claims system, where we utilize the cloud platform to immediately inform hospitals of claims that failed the first level of data validation tests. This is aside from the reconciliation summary module, or RSM, that we have made available to hospitals for free so they can track the status of their submitted claims. In addition, we have posted reconciliation officers in regional offices to assist hospitals in identifying claims that have passed adjudication, needing compliance, under investigation, and denied. This is important so claims data are reconciled. The key to efficient processing is when claims are filed and in order and compliant to rules and regulations set for the purpose. For this, we have intensified our information and education campaign toward this end. We are thankful for the support of the local government units, LGU, and the House of Representatives Special Committee on North Luzon Growth Quadrangle in helping us improve the turnaround time and claims through a memorandum of agreement with LGUs and district representatives for individuals under the government internship program. These interns will be assigned to PhilHealth to assist in the handling of claims. Your Honors, please be assured that PhilHealth is always exerting its best to fulfill its duties that were mandated to us by law. We continue to call for your support in Congress and enjoin everyone to help PhilHealth achieve its objective of providing health insurance for all. Maraming salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you, President Dante Geran. I'd like also to acknowledge and ask for an opening statement from the private sector. Dr. Jaime Almora, you have the floor. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. You have an opening statement for your.
I would like to apologize for coming in late. I have a terrible headache. Perhaps all the tension that has been piling up for the past several days has got on me. So medyo po nakatulog ako kanina dahil sa tinulog ko yung sakit ng ulo ko. Anyway, the Philippine Hospital Association is the organization of all the private and government hospitals in the country. We have 1,842 members as of present, down from a membership of 1,897. 60% of our membership are from the private hospital, and the 40% is from the government hospitals, both local government-owned hospitals and DOH-owned hospitals. For the past month, since the start of the pandemic, the hospitals have been burdened with so much financial burden, physical, mental, and even health issues. And at the start, we have to spend for capital outlay, for purchase of equipments, for purchase of PPE, and then came the PhilHealth Order 2020-009, which prohibited the collection of copay, which is very untenable on the part of the private hospital, because for the severe and the critical cases, it exceeds the 786,000 limit. More often, when the condition is critical, it's more than that. So that is an economic burden to most hospitals. Fortunately, for some of the bigger hospitals, they collect despite the prohibition. But for some of the smaller hospitals, they are afraid to collect, and that's the reason why they do not open their hospital that readily to COVID. And then came the order that the probable cases will not be paid retroactively starting November 26. Despite the issuance of the circular on June. And again came the mounting problem with manpower shortage. We have started giving salary increases to our nurses, and after we have given them salary increases, all the other personnel of the hospital, our medtech, our pharmacists, our radtech, started asking for their increase also, to a point that in some hospitals, the medtechs have already gone on strike because they also want their their salary rates to increase. And so there is a mounting pressure on the hospitals. And we have been continuously waiting for the payment of COVID claims because practically the processing of the COVID claims was not being done in the different regions in the country. So in April last year, April 5, we seek for a meeting with Philhealth because we thought all the while we remained silent for the non-payment because we know that Philhealth has a problem. The top executives and the middle executives, many of them have resigned, many of them were suspended, and so we know that there is a manpower disturbance in the offices of Philhealth, and we did not want to complain while they are having their own problem. But came May, we noticed that there is no payment, and the hospitals have been complaining to our office at the Philippine Hospital Association. So we wrote a letter to the PCO, and he immediately scheduled a meeting where we met last April 5. And as a result of that meeting, the DCPM came about, the debit credit payment mechanism, which is a partial payment for about 60% of good claims. Unfortunately, there are vague provisions there, which the hospitals fear that it will only aggravate the problem. They do not know what is the good claim, how much percentage, and there would be problem with the reconciliation of records. Because, what is paid to the hospital, we have to give the professionals, the doctors, their share. And we must know how to identify. We have to identify what this money is for. We will receive a payment which the patient name is not there. We will not know how to credit the professional fee. So it gives us additional problem. So, and there are undertakings that are provided there in the contract that some hospitals fear that it puts them in danger because like if you're a corporate manager, the responsibility will be on your shoulder, and they would not want to take the responsibility. And also the issue that it is only for the NCR and the adjoining cities, but the provinces are not given that DCPM. So there were a few applicants, and so another meeting was set just for Health to be able to explain to us, and we had that meeting last April 27, and our PCO, Dan Tigaran, explained that they are going to pay. And we really believe that the PCO is sincere in wanting to pay. However, we do not understand why the regional health officers, because the payment comes from the regional health officers, regional Philhealth officers. So we thought that they're simply not following the order of the PCO because we know, we believe, we feel that he's sincere.
Sir, can you wind up can you wind up already, because this is supposed to be an statement.
The boiling point came because there was still no payment, and there was a much economic burden. The boiling point came with the issuance of the temporary suspension of payment of claims. That was the proverbial straw that broke the camel back, with so much burden. And then here comes another burden where we do not know if they're going to be paid, because it is provided that all claims of the concerned healthcare provider, when the extent of the application of the temporary suspension for payment extends to all claims of the concerned healthcare provider, when the findings can extend to the other claim. Meaning, once only one claim was determined to be fraudulent, then all the other claims will be, the payment for the other claims will stop. So we really fear that a lot of our claims will not be paid, and that will really affect so much the financial viability. So it's not a matter of being able to operate. It's a survival matter already for the hospital. We are concerned about the survival of the patients, but then the survival of the hospital is at stake. And we do not have financial risk protection anymore. We always talk about financial risk protection of patients, But how about the financial risk of the hospital, especially considering that the one who will determine this fraudulent case and the one who will adjudicate or arbitrate whether the hospital is guilty or not is the quasi-judicial power of PhilHealth, where they are the complainant, they are the prosecutor, they are the arbiter and the executioner. We feel that under that condition, we will not receive due process. So whatever they say, once they accuse you of fraudulent, then for sure that is fraudulent. Nobody will hold them from ruling that is fraudulent. So our only hope is when we will submit this to a third party, unbiased and impartial, who will determine the guilt of those hospitals. That's for now, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Almora, for your opening statement and for your attendance. Don't worry, we will thresh out all the issues. So, may I now go to the interpellators for the this afternoon. First to interpellate is Doctor of Economics, Stella Kimbo.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Siguro ang first question is, alamin natin once and for all, magkano ba ang unpaid claims? Can we have that number from PhilHealth? This is regardless of aging. Basta yung total, in totality, as of today, August 26, magkano po ang unpaid claims ng PhilHealth?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair again, and Madam Stella. Ang utang po natin yon as of August 24, 2021 is 21.1 billion po.
21 billion. 21.1. Okay.
That's right.
Very quickly, pwede ba natin tanungin si PHA President Dr. Jaime? Can you confirm that?
We made a survey, but we cannot complete our survey. Many of our members does not want to reveal their accounting, so we were not able to complete.
But more or less, ballpark, yung estimate niyo po ba ay hindi nalalayo sa 21 billion?
What I can only say, Madam Chair, is when there was a hearing in the DOH about the DOH hospitals, DOH called for a meeting. When they compared notes, the data of PhilHealth of their payable to the DOH owned hospital, there is a very wide, not only wide, but I would say very wide disparity in the payables record of PhilHealth with that of, or I would say, the claims that is being processed from the submitted claims of the government hospital, and also from the private hospitals who tried to reconcile with the records of PhilHealth. Many of them are complaining that there is a wide disparity in the figures. So that's the extent that I can say, Madam Chair.
And Mr. Chair, dahil wala pong number si PHA President, can we just ask PhilHealth to submit to us a sworn statement indicating the value of unpaid claims as of August 24? Is that okay, Attorney Yaran?
Mr. Chair.
And for now,
Mr. Chair, we will. Thank you, Madam Stella.
And for now, we assume good faith. Just for purposes of discussion, let's talk about the 21 billion worth of debt to hospitals. May we know, Attorney Yaran, the breakdown of these unpaid claims by age? Ibig sabihin, ilan po dyan ang unpaid in the last 30 days or from 30 days to 50 days and so on and so forth?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the very good Congresswoman pronounced my family name as very exact, Kiran. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you sa iyo. Ma'am, let me see sa mga tao po rito po kung they can do it right now. Pero if it's needed, of course, it will be needed. We will comply po.
Attorney Yaran, pasensya na po. Alam naman po natin na ang topic ng ating discussion this afternoon is unpaid claims. So, hindi ba dapat automatic na meron po kayong baon na aging of unpaid claims? Dahil ang dinadaing ng ating ospital ay ang kabagalan. So, hindi po ba yung aging ang pinaka-natural na itatanong po natin?
From the point of view of accounting, it should be Mr. Chair, and it's only
with all due respect. So ang tanong lang po, simplihan ko na lang po, is that information readily available now?
I will ask my attorney, rather Dr. Benji Pagi, if he has the figure right now.
Sige po, while we're waiting, is he here with us now?
Would you permission, Madam Chair?
Yes, President Kiran, can you have him answer the questions on the aging of the payables?
Dr. Benji?
Mr. Chair, and Madam.
Yes, Benjamin, please proceed. You are now. Before we continue, I'd like to do some administrative matters. Put them on the side. Comsec, can you administer the oath to our resource persons, please? Because this is an inquiry that will determine if there is a malfeasance, misfeasance. So they need to swear that they're telling the truth. Comsec,
Yes.
please administer to the oath.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, can I ask all the resource person to please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this congressional inquiry, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you. Representative Kimbo, you may proceed.
So, salamat Mr. Chair. Attorney Yaran, so nandyan na po ang may alam po tungkol sa aging.
Let me present Dr. Benji Pagi, Mr. Chair, Madam Stella.
Dr. Benji Pagi, please proceed and answer the questions. Address the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is the figure for the claims aging. So we have distributed the aging according to COVID and non-COVID claims.
Can you share it in the screen so that we can monitor it? Can you share?
Yes, po, Mr. Okay.
Share the information. Can you zoom it? Okay, please proceed.
Okay, is there any reason for why ang aging ninyo refers to a 60-day threshold? Bakit po 60 days?
Dr.
Mr. Chair,
Benji. Yes, Dr. Benji.
Madam, yes, Mr. Chair. This is according to the IRR's specification for the processing of claims. We are given 60 days for claims processing. So this is less than 60 days and beyond 60 days.
Okay, what
Hello, Representative Kimbo, your internet is not stable. We cannot hear you. Hello? Hello, Dr. Benji, can you explain the slide? Can you proceed?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So this is only the in-process claims. So at any given point in time, the claims that the PhilHealth received can easily change its status. No. So the first status is in process. Then once it is processed by along the line, it can go into RTH, return to hospital, payment, or denied. So as of this moment, August 24 po, no? That for the COVID claims, and it's actually less around 44% are less than 60 days. Beyond 60 days, 55.5% in terms of amount po. So we're
And
talking
Mr. Chair,
in terms of amount po.
Mr. Chair, what is the average number of days? Sa lahat po ng claims, ano yung average number of days sa pag-process ng isang claim?
Mr. Chair, the average number of days po that PhilHealth processes po up to the payment point po is around 44 days po for 2021, for 2020 and 2021 po.
Naku, 44 patay na.
Mr. Chair, hindi ko maisip kung bakit kailangan ng 1.5 months to process a claim on the average. Ano po ba ang hinahanap ninyo dyan? May tanong ako, sino sa inyo, sa lahat ng regional offices, ang pinakamahusay sa pag-process ng claim? Is it NCR? Attorney Yaran? May we know? Attorney Yaran? Sino, alin sa
Mr.
mga
Chair.
regional offices
Okay,
ang
Mr. Chair.
pinakamahusay?
I saw one, I saw one document which I don't have it right here. Ang pinakamabilis yata yung sa BARM, ang medyo very fast ang processing. Basically siguro dahil
And how many days?
Ma'am, sabi ko nga ma'am,
Sige
I
po.
don't have the document right now, but somewhere,
Naku, sir.
sometime, a certain
Ang nabilita, yes, Mr. Chair, when I was interviewing some of the PhilHealth officers, ang nabalitaan ko po, sa NCR, mabilis-bilis. Yan ang sabi po nila. And in fact, ang pinakamabilis daw ay 2 days. So, pwede bang ipaliwanag, ano ba yung dahilan kung bakit kailangan on the average 44 days when in fact, posible naman to process a claim within 2 days. So siguro ipaliwanag ninyo, ano ba yung proseso ng claims processing? Meron po ba kayong flowchart? And for each step, pwede nyo bang sabihin kung ilang days yan? At kung alam natin that the average is 44 days, ang magandang tanong is, ano bang target ng PhilHealth? Base sa flowchart, ano ang target? Diba? Kasi ilalatag mo kung ano yung step by step at meron tayong target sa kada step. Hindi po ba? So, tanungin natin, ano yung average na 44 days relative to the target base sa flowchart?
Mr. Chair, can you answer?
Yes, sir.
Dr. BJ.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, Madam Congressman Kimbo, present to you the distribution of the turnaround time for each region po.
Sir, ang tinatanong ko yung proseso. Kasi gusto namin maintindihan. Why does it take 44 days?
Okay. Mr. Chair, can I refer this question to our program management team in the health finance policy sector po?
Doc Ele.
Madam Chair, Dr. Herrera po.
Hello, yes, Dr. Herrera.
Mr. Chair, yes. We're just securing the slides po. Please give us some time po. We'll present po.
And Mr. Chair, while we're waiting, itatanong ko muna si Mr. Jeremiah ng ARTA.
Ma'am Stella, you have because you already consumed 15 minutes, you have 10 minutes.
Sige po, last question ko na po ito.
For second
para
round,
kay,
again
opo,
for second.
and then magpapalista po ako sa second round. Pero last question ko po for Mr. Belhica. Ang PhilHealth po ba is covered ng ARTA law? Ibig sabihin, ayon sa batas ng ARTA, 30 days lang ang maximum dapat. So, pwede ba natin malaman sa ARTA kung covered ang PhilHealth at ano ang kanilang pagtingin dito sa sinasabi po nila na the average is 44 days. Napag-aralan na po ba nila ang problema dito sa PhilHealth? Meron ba silang report or recommendations? Yun po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you po. Mr. Chair, if I may answer
Yes,
our good Congresswoman. Thank you, Ma'am Stella, for referring to us. In fact, meron po kaming isa-submit na amin pong initial findings because ongoing po ang amin pong hearing at pakikipag-usap sa PhilHealth, but we already have an initial finding that we would be submitting to the chair, sir. But if I would be allowed, ma'am, to answer your question, the answer is yes. Sila po ay sakop sa batas po natin sa ARTA. But in the law, it provides, the law is a more general law. So if there is a special law that provides for a period for specific agencies for their transaction, then the general law should give way to the special law. However, madam, we have to make it very clear to all government agencies na pinagbabawal po ng batas ngayon ay ang mga proseso na wala pong period. Kasi ang ibig sabihin po natin dito, tama, okay, so sundin po natin yung period na sa batas nyo o IRR, pero kapag ito po ay lumalagpas dun sa nakalagay po na yan, ito pa rin ho ay singilin ayon po sa ating hong batas. If I may, Mr. Chair, I don't know if I may be allowed to give a quick statement from ARTA.
yes, sir.
Sir, I don't know if I may be using the time of our dear Congresswoman, but we just want to make it very clear po, ano. So ARTA is quite cognizant in the situation that has been engaging both of our functions to help address this situation with the PhilHealth. The two general functions of ARTA is the empowerment and the enforcement functions. Empowerment function is we help government agencies streamline their processes, identify the choke points, at magbigay ho kami ng mga rekomendasyon. Ang ahensya po ang siya nag-streamline at nagtatanggal, ang hindi po ang ARTA, but ARTA gives their recommendations to them. So, on the enforcement side, this is the cracking of the whip and the filing of the cases or investigation, both of which ay na-engage po ang PhilHealth sa amin. On the empowerment function, which is on the streamlining, Mr. Chairman, we already conducted several meetings together with our good President Hiran. And initially po, sinabi ko nga po kasi ongoing po ang amin pong mga meetings sa kanila, we were able to identify three general choke points po na nakita po namin. Number one is the ICT issues po nila. Number two is on the medical prepayment review. And number three is obviously what our President Hiran mentioned about the shortage of manpower. On the ICT issues, there are three things that we were able to identify together with them. Is the internet speed na isa ho sa kanilang problema, yung e-platforms na tinatawag po na kailangan nilang i-upgrade dun sa kanilang infrastructure itself. And number three is the data storage. On the ICT issues, ARTA was able to broker a meeting with the ICT and assisted them already to at least address the data storage. And I think may nahanap na po ang DICT. Salamat po kay Yusek Ali Atienza na maaari hong magamit ng PhilHealth for their ICT. On the e-platform development, tutulungan din po. They've already committed for that. On the internet speed, this is purely internal for PhilHealth because kinakailangan ho siguro sa kanilang service provider ay magkuha po sila. What is interesting, Mr. Chairman, is the MPR, yung tinatawag po natin na Medical Prepayment Review, which actually results to the RTH, yung return to the hospital. Because the medical prepayment review may actually be limited. Ito pong amin pong nakikita, ang amin pong sinasuggest, it could be limited to a simple completion of documentary requirements, and the other non-highly technical compliance evaluation po could actually be included, no? Non-highly technical evaluation, meaning pwede ho natin ipagpaliban yan doon sa ating post evaluation na tinatawag. Kasi just to give a quick figure, we will include this in our position paper po. Based on our meetings with PhilHealth, there was an approximately only 8% of the entire claims are subject to return to hospital. So 92% po according sa kanilang approximation, pumapasa naman po at walang problema, supposed to be, ano? And 8% of that 8% lamang is due to the wrong diagnosis. Meaning po, yung 92% of that 8% is primarily due to completion of documentary requirements. So, Mr. Chairman, ang point po namin dito, pag tiningnan po natin the entire field, meaning approximately only a mere 0.64% of the total claims submitted actually turned out to be returned to the hospital due to wrong diagnosis. And ito po yung tingin ko na hinuhuli po, tinitingnan po mabuti ng COA, baka mali yung diagnosis, nagja-jack up po ng presyo. Siguro this is one of the things that also has to be considered in really tightening the releasing po ng mga claims. So, ang amin pong actual recommendation also here is consider the debit credit payment, which is actually being a good innovation po ng ating pong PhilHealth, na hindi lang humang siya malimitahan sa COVID-related concerns or other small priority areas, baka pwedeng across the board po. Kasi the debit credit payment method naman po, doon ho sa isang sulat po ng COA as a response to PhilHealth, sinabi rin po na allowed naman po ito, no? Kasi this is an internal process po ng PhilHealth. At in this regard, Mr. Chair, nakikita namin at least yung pag initial submission, kumpleto documents, ibigay mo na agad yung 60% ng payment. Ngayon, yung binanggit ko ho kanina na 60 days na period ho ng COA, within 60 days, dapat ho nila kumpletohin po ito. Yun po ang aming nakikita. Now, Mr. Chair, just to end on my recommendation also on this, we recommend po siguro dun sa pag-evaluate po nung tinatawag na pre-payment assessment po nila, they could employ 3 things. Ang amin pong sinasuggest. Baka pwede ho sila magkaroon ng risk-based assessment. Sino ho ba ang mga una nating babayaran, kasi baka may mga maliliit na health institutions dyan na magsasara na pag hindi ho natin binayaran. Also, maybe a credit standing based also, Mr. Chairman, could also be considered by our colleagues from PhilHealth, meaning historically, sino po ang maganda po ang kanilang submission, 100% na maayos pong documentation at hindi ho nag-fail sa kanila pong diagnosis. And these things pwede ho natin makita, no? Sino ho ba ang mas luluwagan natin at sino po ang mare-red flag po natin. In sum, Mr. Chair, we do support again the PhilHealth in terms of their streamlining. At yesterday we should have had a meeting, but because of this hearing, we had to defer it also. But we will be committed in helping them. But Mr. Chair, we also have some cases already. Actually, one important case na nag-file po sa amin ng complaint, at ito po yung na-resolve na po at binabayaran na po ng PhilHealth. Ito po nag-complaint sa amin. So we would be submitting, Mr. Chair, our position paper on this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Director Jenna Bellica. Ma'am Stella.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Pero can we just listen to the answer of PhilHealth tungkol sa process? Because I believe this will help all other members na magtatanong po. And then I won't ask na muna. Sa second round na ako next. Salamat po.
Can you have
Mr. Chair.
Director Herrera? I think we'll have the answer to that on the processes to process the claims.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if you allow Dr. Remonte to share the slides
Okay.
over
Please,
and
Doc.
Dr. Elle to present po. Over.
Nakikita na po yung slides.
Hindi pa po. Yan na. Kita na.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. Jonathan Ellie from the program management team. Okay, starting 2016 po, we have fully implemented the submission of claims through electronic claim submission. So almost 98% of the claims are submitted through e-claims, except po yung mga claims regarding our HIV patients and patients that were confined abroad. So they are submitted manually. Okay, so once the hospital has finished filling up all the required forms and the documents and the patient's CF4, they now transmit it through electronic claims to Philhealth. So once Philhealth receive it, automatically po yung system namin nag-validate, nag-evaluate na po siya if the documents are complete, if the documents meet the required specifics. For example, kung if the cases are only for female, pag male siya, automatic i-deny na niya po yun. Or the cases are for children, pero ang age ng patient is adult, so meron na po tayong mga qualifiers po. Next po niyan, so once the claims is already in the system, some of the claims are automatically forwarded to the medical evaluators. These are doctors. Sila po ay nag-evaluate ng mga selected specific claims po. So there are some priority claims that needs to undergo medical prepayment review because these claims are prone to abuse. So the doctor will now check the patient's record through the CF4, yung claims form 4 po natin. It contains all the history, the signs and symptoms of the patient, the medicines, the diagnostics performed, and then i-compare po ng doctor natin to doon sa ating medical prepayment tool to check yung admissibility criteria po if the patient really needs admission. And then after that, the claims that were evaluated and other claims na did not pass through the medical evaluator will go now to the medical adjudicator. Si medical adjudicator po will check all the documents needed, will check all documents if they are properly filled up. They will check if there are the signature of the doctor, signature of the patient, signature of the employer. They will check if the documents are consistent with other documents. So after that, pag good claim po siya, then it will be automatically forwarded for voucher. If the claim has deficiency or if the claim under the medical prepayment, meron pong additional documents required ang ating mga doctor to decide if the claims is a good claim, then these claims will now be returned to hospital. Ito po yung RTH. And if under the medical prepayment review and under the adjudicator, pag talagang clear-cut po na ang claim na yon ay may problem, then it will be under the denied. So ang decision po natin is pay if good claim. Kung na-meet niya yung requirements ng medical prepayment, na-meet niya yung requirements sa adjudicators. RTH po if kulang yung requirements, so giving another chance the facility to comply. And kung talagang clear-cut po na hindi siya good claim, then automatically it will be denied. Then all the process claims that are for vouchered Monday to Friday will be released to the facility the following week po. So all vouchered claims Monday to Friday, it will be then forwarded to the healthcare provider banks, and it will then be deposited. over po.
Thank you. Thank you po, Dr. Dr. Jonathan. Ma'am Stella, can you yield for?
Yes po, second round na po ako. Thank you po.
Thank you. Thank you po. President Heran, are you still there?
Chair,
Sir.
I'm always
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po. Ang concern po nitong committee natin is there a probable violation of law due to misfeasance ng PhilHealth? Ano po ang commitment natin itong 21 billion mabayaran in the next ma-identify kung ano yung mga fraudulent, ano yung mga kulang sa dokumento, and ano yung mga valid claims. Kailan po natin magawa yon at anong commitment po natin, sir?
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. But before I'll answer that, let me state that there is no such thing as malfeasance here, because malfeasance is doing act prohibited by law.
No, sir, I said misfeasance, not malfeasance. Misfeasance.
Okay. Misfeasance is the improper or irregular performance of an act.
Yes, exactly.
And non-feasance is the non-performance, failure, or refusal to do an act, which one is required to do. Mr. Chair, we will be submitting, or I think my people have submitted already a document to your honorable committee. And for that, Mr. Chair, for year 2020 up to 2021, total, we have yet, the total received claims is 170,000, no? Millions, 170 millions, no? In process is, ito nga, utang po namin is 21.1 billions. And then, ang nabayaran po namin is 132 billions. So, the 132 billions, Mr. Chair, is equivalent to 72%, 72.2%. We will, just in case, Mr. Chair, we will be furnishing you with a copy of this. No,
Thank
so,
you.
ito, nagbayad po kami.
Hindi, ang commitment, ang tanong ko lang, President Heran, is itong 21 billion, kailan ma-resolve itong makaklasify siya as fraudulent claims, incomplete documents, and ready for payment. Di yan lang naman pwede, di ba?
Salamat po, sir. Babayaran talaga yan, sir, kasi alam po namin, sir, ang paghihirap ng mga hospitals. Sa makatuwid po, ay meron na tayo ngayon, sir, expanded DCPM. Something like, sinabi sa akin kanina, something like 17 billions. So, 17 out of 21, magkano na lang yan? 4 billions, no? So, itong 17 billions, Mr. Chair, ay nasa pipeline na ito, or nasa pipeline na ito, or in fact, hinintay na lang po, Mr. Chair, ang dokumentasyon. We have, kaya lang may hearing kami bukas, maantala na naman yung trabaho, no? Pero ang ano po, Mr. Chair, ito po, Mr. Chair, ako na po nagsasalita. Next week, babayaran ito, Mr. Chair. Doon pa rin sa DCPM, Mr. Chair, ang ibig sabihin yan, 70%, 60% rather, kung magkano ang amount na dapat bayaran namin doon sa mga healthcare institutions, ay bayaran kaya kaagad yan outright, no? 60%. And this will be an expanded DCPM. So by next week, Mr. Chair, hopefully maawa si Lord. Wipe out po yan, Mr. Chair, yung 60%. And we will be containing with the rest of the balance na 40%. Na unang 40%, Mr. Chair, doon sa unang DCPM, and another 40% dito sa expanded, Mr. Chair po.
Thank you, President Heran. We are, umaasa po kami doon sa wipe out yung commitment. And the second question, sir, is itong PhilHealth Circular 2021-0013, yung temporary suspension of payment of claims. Ano pong status nito? Ano pong current status nitong memo na to?
Okay po. Ang sa totoo lang po niyan, yung temporary suspension of payment ay hindi lang ngayon nangyari yan. Meron ng dating circular yan 2016 at saka 2018, something like that. Kaya lang hindi po emphasize yung circular ng TSPC. Those matters of yung TSPC were incorporated in other circulars. Unlike ngayon, Mr. Chair, na talagang TSPC ito. So, ang purpose niya na, Mr. Chair, is just to temporarily, conditionally stop the payment because may nakita ang PhilHealth na irregularity. And then, pag nawala naman po, babayaran na po yan na Mr. Chair.
Ito pong memo na to is blanket hold, blanket for all claims na stop temporarily suspended. Is that this?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair. Para lang yun doon sa bad claims, yung sa rather suspicious na may kalukuhan po. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Chair, if our friends, our partners in the CIS would know na itong latest na TSPC ngayon ay it's basically an observance of due process kasi ang pwede magpirma na nito ang president lang, hindi kung sino-sino. Kasi nung una, Mr. Chair, kung sino-sino lang. And itong pinakamaganda, Mr. Chair, para liwanagan po ang Honorable Committee na ito, na ito ay pinag-usapan na doon sa isang hearing na dito sa House of Representatives under Dr. Helen Tan, na they requested us, just like the President, requested us to review the circular and if eventually if it can be suspended at the moment. And we will submit. Kung namin po, Mr. Chair, kung ano pong tama po.
Yeah, thank you po. Kasi yung impression ko blanket eh. Kaya natanong ko po yun kung blanket ito. Sabi niyo po for fraudulent claims lang. So that is very reassuring. Before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge members who went in during just entered the Zooms. Representative Sharon Garin, Representative Claudine Diana Bautista, and Representative Villa Costa. Yun lang po. May mga tanong ako mamaya na po sa second round. Next to interpellate is the Honorable Hector Sanchez of the Lone District of Catanduanes. Representative Sanchez, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Chairman, and to all my colleagues and to all resource persons. As mentioned by PhilHealth President about the IRR, implementing rules and regulations, that claims are only paid after 60 days. Is that correct, Mr. President?
We have within 60 days to pay claims, Mr. Chair.
So, meaning this, you mentioned that the total claims is about 170 billion pesos, and you have paid already the 132 billion. Is that correct?
That's right, Mr. Chair.
Okay, but the reason why we have this discussion of this House Bill 1769 and 1770, and also this House Bill 1960 pertaining to your department. And right now we are in COVID situation, pandemic and COVID-19 situation, and right now there is still an increasing cases which unpredictable. My question is, hospitals are in private, and maybe those who are concerned with this PhilHealth claims, alam po natin na punong-puno sila. So there is what we call the cycle or repayments, meaning nakakatakot at baka sila mawala ng daily support sa ating mga pasyente because of these delays, cause of the delays of the payment by PhilHealth. Well, isa po sa nakikita ko doon sa mga may problema ng mga documents which may be part ng yung review ng ating mga abogado. Mr. President, alam po natin na every regions ang structure po natin on staffing like yung mga nagre-review ng cases ng ating mga claimants, kulang na kulang ho. Yun po ang isa sa mga observation ko. Paano po natin susolusyonan ito, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair, meron na tayong ginawang hakbang diyan like ang pagdadagdag ng ating empleyado, particularly mga doctors natin, mga abogado natin at iba pang mga discipline na para padami ng ating mga kasamahan dahil po sa Mr. Chair, ang mga claims kada taon po ay dumadagdag, no? Noong una po mga 2020 lang, 2020 or 2019, ang average sa claims po, ibig sabihin yung claims na pinadala sa atin for reimbursement ay something like mga 12.5 billions lang po. Pero ngayon po 2021 ay at the rate that we are going, umaabot na po sa 14 millions, no? 14 millions. So, ibig sabihin po niyan, Mr. Chair, ay dumadami ang claims. Pero Mr. Chair, kita nyo, ang matauhan namin ay ganun pa rin. Hindi pa rin dumarami at sa awa ng Diyos. Ang sweldo po ng mga tao ko po ay ganun pa rin. Nasa salary SSL 4 lang kami, yung iba may 5 na. Pero kami nasa 4 pa lang. Pero ang mga tao ko po ay kahit na araw-araw, gabi-gabi nagmi-meeting kami. But again, that's beside the point, no? So dinagdagan po namin yan, Mr. Chair, yung hakbang namin. At saka yung problema po namin sa IT. As a matter of fact, ang ating kagalang-galang na ARTA na Attorney Jeremiah ay dahil sa pag-meeting sa amin at sa kuha, nag-conduct rin sila ng investigation at yun din po ang lumalabas na kanilang findings na yun ang problema among the problem is IT.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman.
Congressman, please proceed, Congressman.
We know, President Garan, that in every application there is a checklist form, correct? And that PhilHealth checklist form is being filled up. And how come that it takes this 60 days? Yun po yung concern din ng ibang congressman, like Congressman Stella Kimbo, na baka pwedeng ma-shorten natin ang process. Because ito nga, yung repayment and replenishment of funds of every hospital, yung ating kinoconsider na siyempre titirik ang isang hospital o mga hospital kung yung gastos is not sustainable. Yun po yung concern po ng mga ating kasama dito, Mr. Gerland. Can you please answer that question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa totoo lang po, yung 60 days, yung po ang mandato po sa amin na bayaran. Kasi nakita nyo na po kanina yung flow ng trabaho, ng proseso. Now, Mr. Chair, kung sa ako lang, kung ako lang po, kung kaya ng bayaran, sabi kanina ni Congressman Stella, na meron daw sa NCR na dalawang araw lang. Kung ako rin din, kung kaya din dalawa, bakit hindi po? Kasi po, alam po namin po na itong mga hospitals po ay negosyante din ito. At ito po sila ay aming mga partners. Hindi po we can never accomplish our mandate without our authentic partners. So kami naman kasi, Mr. Chair, wala po kaming hospital, wala kaming operating rooms, wala kaming dialysis center, wala kami may doktor po kami diyan, pero hindi po doktor na gumagamot ng ang mga doctors ko po dito sa sa central office po ay mga managers, mga policy makers. So kailangan po namin, Mr. Chair, ang hospitals. So Mr. Chair, kung pwede lang namin tapusin kaagad na hindi naabot ng 60 days, gagawin po namin yan, Mr. Chair. Salamat po.
So, Mr. Chairman, may I now manifest that the medical repayment review, as mentioned, be shortened to help our. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Sanchez. Next to interpellate is the Honorable Marvy Marino of the Batangas. Congressman Marino, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My concerns really was echoed by some of the members already. But just to put everything in perspective, sabi po kasi ni President Dante Heran, kung kaya naman daw pong bayaran ng mas maaga, bakit hindi? So ngayon po, gusto ko po malaman ano ba ho yung mga pwede nating gawin para maabot natin yung ganon klaseng payment. Kasi I spoke with the private hospitals in my area just today, Mr. Chairman, and they told me that they will about to close their hospitals in about 6 months if they are not paid with their claims. So sa amin po, 3 po yung private hospitals or 4 yung private hospitals na nakausap ko, and it is the same concern. It was mentioned earlier yung ICT. Sabi po ng isang hospital, hindi naman po nababasa lahat yung information na pinapadala nila. They had to send it manually. And it was rejected the first time. Tapos nung pinadala ulit nila, second time, nabayaran na. So, hindi ho nila maintindihan kung ano yung problema doon sa claim. My suggestion, Mr. Chairman, is we focus on the diagnosis. Kung tama naman po yung diagnosis, for example, sa COVID, moderate, severe, and the regular COVID, alam ko po may differences yung amount of payment. Kung tama naman po yung diagnosis, then might as well pay them. Yung sinasabi po kanina, agree po ako doon ng 60%, go ahead and pay them. Pag kulang pa po yung mga other documents, that is later on, pwede po pag-usapan. Kasi po, critical po yung time ng mabayaran natin yung mga hospitals. Otherwise, they cannot survive, Mr. Chairman. They are losing their nurses, their doctors. Simple concerns po sa kanila, but it is closing down the hospitals will put the whole health system in disarray. Yung pong sinasabi ko lang, diagnosis. Ang sinasabi pa nga po nila sa akin, ang specialist daw po nandun sa hospital. Yung nag-examine po nung documents, hindi naman po specialist, it's a general practitioner. So paano po nagkaroon ng discrepancy when the specialist is in the hospital? Kung tama po yung sinasabi nila sa akin. So mapipilitan na lang po pa silang tanggapin yung from severe, naging moderate na lang yung payment. That's 700,000, naging 300 na lang. Paano po yung naging na-incur na cost? Wala pong co-payment required pagka COVID. So they are really suffering right now, Mr. Chairman. And another issue, ito po sa LGU, I specifically asked the LGU. Meron po, yung LGU po ng Batangas City, 18,000 members po ang nagbabayad ng Philhealth. Tapos ngayon po, pinapa-require sila na mag-fill up ng renewal ng forms. For whatever reason, hindi ko po maintindihan. Nagbabayad na nga po yung LGU, tapos pahihirapan pa natin ng 18,000 para patawagin tapos mag-fill up ng claim. nagbabayad na nga po yung LGU. Tapos wala rin naman po palang nakiklaim. So nahihirapan po talaga, Mr. Chairman. Kausap ko po yung mga private hospitals. So sana po we can come up during the pandemic man lang a shorter process. I know the process that you showed us. It's about 9 steps as I saw it earlier, ano, and there are recommendations. But I mean, during the pandemic, pwede ba 3 lang yan? I mean, let's focus on the diagnosis. We have partners with hospitals. Pag meron po dyang violation or their, kung ano man yung kasuhan po natin. But ngayon po, sinasabi ko po sa inyo, yung pong mga hospitals nagmi-meeting, masama po ang epekto sa kanila, parang pinagbibintangan po sila ng agad-agad na meron silang ginagawang upscaling ba ang tawag doon na tinataasan nila yung presyo. So baka po sa way ng communication natin sa kanila, mali po yung dating sa kanila. That's why they are up in arms na nag-iisip po sila ng paraan kung paano at magrereklamo po sila. So sa akin po, sana maayos natin. It is not, wag natin pagbintangan yung mga hospitals na wala naman kinalaman doon sa upscaling. Sana let's be more specific, Yun po ang suggestion ko, Mr. Chairman. Sana po yung diagnosis part ma-determine agad natin. Bayaran natin 60%. Tapos after that, kung mga documentary requirements lang, later on, madali naman po yun bayaran, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Marino. Next to interpellate is the Honorable Sharon Garin of Ambis OWA.
Can I
Mr.
react,
Chairman,
Mr. Chair?
may I ask for an answer? Just
Yeah,
a
can I
comment on my suggestions.
President Heran.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the Honorable Congressman Marino. Gusto ko pong sabihin po na ang Batangas po ay hindi na po nag-avail ng unang DCPM natin. Hindi po nag-avail ng ating DCPM. Why? Because they are happy with our ordinary claims processing. I have letters po sa mga hospitals na writing me that they will no longer avail of the DCPM kasi happy na po sila sa regular filing, no? At saka yung sinasabi po na Mr. Chair na yung diagnosis ng mga specialist ng hospital tapos pagdating po sa PhilHealth ay binabalik dahil wrong diagnosis. I was told, I am not a doctor, Mr. Chair, pero I was educated by our doctors here. Yung pagbalik ng claim is not because of a wrong diagnosis. It's about, Mr. Chair, yung tinatawag na documentary requirements. Kaya merong RTH, merong denied claims. So it's not basically na parang kinukontra ng PhilHealth yung diagnosis ng mga doctors natin na in their fields, they are expert, no? So upscaling will always be there. Bago lang po ako, Mr. Chair, sa PhilHealth. Pero maraming kasong ganun po, Mr. Chair, with a lot of cases filed by the NBI. I used to be with the NBI, and we have a very good we have a very good coordination with the NBI. Yon lagi, Mr. Chair, ang kaso upscaling. Pero Mr. Chair, it doesn't mean na because may kasong upscaling, we mistrust we mistrust our hospitals. Hindi po. And ito sasabihin ko na po. Kasi parang bugbog na po kami, Mr. Chair. Ito, I'll open my heart. Bugbog na po kami. No less than yan, si Dr. Almora, tumawag sa akin. Nagsosorry po sa akin na he was just overreacting, Mr. Chair. Ito sasabihin ko na. Anong ibig sabihin po ng overreacting? Nag-overreact lang pala siya. You see? So it's unfair, Mr. Chair, na kami lahat ang mali. Mr. Chair, yung sa TSPC, it's just yan, Mr. Chair? It's just a policy, no? Na suspension of payment meantime of claims na doon, Mr. Chair, doon sa mga hospital na suspected or under investigation, doon lang sa kaso, Mr. Chair, hindi naman po lahat. At saka that is part of our fiduciary responsibility to be prudent in our disbursement of our funds. Mr. Chair, when I came, hindi po ako sanay dito, Mr. Chair. Sa NBI po, maganda po ng trabaho namin sa NBI. I was the director for 4 months. Hindi ako binugbog ng mga doon, ng mga komentaryo doon. Pero dito nako po, kawawa talaga. Pamilya ko po, mga kaibigan ko. Mabuti yung nakaintindi. Pero ang totoo na, Mr. Chi, ginagawa namin dapat namin gawin, no? Walang element of mistrust dito. It's just a normal process, Mr. Chair. Na pag may nakita na gano'n, hindi naman galing sa amin yan. Report yan sa mga RBPs namin kung saan ang lugar. So, ang ginagawa lang po, mag-imbestiga po. So, it doesn't mean anything, no? And yung sa LGO, nasabi ni very good Congressman Marino na 18,000, hindi ko alam po yan. Kaya hindi ko pwede sagutin yan. Hindi ko naman alam yung ibang tanong eh. Kaya kung meron sa kasamahan ko na pwedeng sumagot doon sa LGO na yung 18,000 po, please, Philhealth family, sinong sumagot? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, that's precisely, I think, what happened. There was a miscommunication in releasing a document of stop payment to the hospitals. So nagre-react po yung mga hospitals. Ang sinasabi ko lang po ay sinasabi ko po sa inyo yung sentimiento ng mga private hospitals. Ang pakiramdam po nila ay sila ay na-prejudge na rin natin. So because of that miscommunication, lumalala po yung sitwasyon. So sana po, let's communicate with each other. Kayo po, mag-usap po kayo para maayos po yung gusot. Kasi na-alarma po sila na pag hindi po sila nakatanggap ng payment within the next 6 months, sabi po nila magsasara na daw po sila. So I understand the predicament of PhilHealth. But I'm just saying that there is a miscommunication that should have been fixed because hindi po tayo nagkakaintindihan. And second, tama po yung sabi ni President, kung hindi naman po pala issue yung diagnosis, then the more that we can just pay them the 60% because it's all documentary requirement. Ang ibig nyo pong sabihin, dun sa 21 billion, hindi po issue yung diagnosis. Kung hindi po issue yan, bayaran natin yung 60%. Kung documentary lang po yan, di konti na lang po yung problema natin. It will not be a health problem. Yun lang po naman ang sinasabi ko, Mr. Chairman. And these issues came from the hospitals themselves. It is not from me. So sana po, pinaabot ko lang po sa inyo bilang representative po ng aking distrito. Kami naman po, gusto namin po tumulong. Paano po ba natin masoshorten yung proseso? Tama po kayo, pagandahin natin yung ICT natin. Dapat yun, online. Sa online pa lang, makikita na natin eh. Let's focus on the diagnosis. Kung yung pong diagnosis ay tama, there's no reason to return the document. Let's pay them 60%. Sabihin natin, may kulang pa lang kayong document. So, yun po, Mr. Chairman. I'm not, making blames. I'm just saying, baka naman pwede natin ayusin. Unang-una yung communication ninyo with the hospitals. Sinasabi po ninyo yan sa amin, but hindi po nakakarating dun sa mga hospitals yung sinasabi ninyo. Sila po ay nagmi-meeting. As we speak right now, nagmi-meeting sila because of the concern. So sana po maagapan natin yon para naman hindi tayo dumating sa point na nagwo-walk out na yung mga nurses nila dahil wala nang sweldo. And ang sinasabi rin po nila sa akin, yung because of there's no co-pay from the patients, hindi naman po nakakakolekta yung mga consultants ng mga private hospitals ng certain fees which they are entitled to also. So marami pong private hospitals, may mga consultants, they are not employees of the hospitals. Ayun lang man po, Mr. Chairman, sana in the report we can come up with a scheme where during the pandemic it is a faster process. I mean, I understand it's a regular. If it's not a pandemic, I won't even bother question the 9 steps. But if it's a pandemic, well, let's make it 3, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Chair.
pasalamat po ako sa napakagaling na Congressman Marino po. Tinumbok niya po, miscommunication po. And actually po, Mr. Chair, yun lagi ang aking sinasabi sa aking mga tauhan. Mr. Chair, I tell you, sanay ako po dyan. Sanay ako sa gira ng against criminal.
Pwede ba mag-suggest, President Heran, pwede mag-suggest? Kung saan you can set a town hall meeting with the members of the group of Dr. Jaime Almora and the group of Dr. Degrano, Zoom meeting, para marinig nyo yung mga concerns lahat, para direct, wala nang in the middleman. At least the president himself of PhilHealth can be directly questioned by the members, miski 800 yan o 500 na ospital. At least po, pag matapos nyo na yung meeting na yan, medyo yung nila, peace of mind na open line of communication. Di ba? Yun ang tingin ko. Kasi sila din ang nagrereklamo sa mga congressman nila, yung mga private and public hospitals. Sila din ang numero 1 nagbibigay ng concerns nila sa mga congressmen, which in turn nakukuha lang, one-sided lang nakukuha, di ba? So I suggest you organize a town hall meeting. If makasuggest lang ako ng konti po for the betterment of all parties concerned, it will crash out the issues and address the miscommunication po. Opo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Napakagaling nyo po. Sa totoo lang po, yung sinasabi nyo, let's have a meeting. Mr. Chair, dati na po namin ginawa yan. Almost
Chair.
wala. Baka kalahating mga kalahating dosina na po kami nagmi-meeting po ni Jimmy Almora at saka ni Dr. Degrano, and meeting on ourselves, and then meron pang broker na meeting ni Dr. Biga. Maraming beses na po kami nag-meeting po, at saka may mga sinasabi silang rekomendasyon na pinag-aralan din namin, Mr. Chair.
Sige po.
Kaya lang, Mr. Chair, talagang medyo mabagal din talagang pagbayad namin. Talagang,
Sige po.
kaya
At
sila
least,
nagkumanon.
Very refreshing po kasi lahat ng hearing na natin ko, halos lahat, hindi lang sa committee to, ayaw mag-admit na may problema. At least kayo po, in-admit nyo na may problema kayo sa PhilHealth, na very refreshing po yung yung way you take on the problems. Maraming salamat po. Next to interpellate is the Honorable Sharon Garin of the Ambis
Good
OWA.
afternoon, Chairman.
Yes,
Can you hear
ma'am.
me, Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
Kasi pag gumalaw kasi yung kotse ko, mawawala signal ko.
Sige, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Chairman, and thank you. Sir, I just wanted to ask, I'm not sure because I don't have a very steady signal. Pero sa PhilHealth President, magkano yung payables niyo pa ngayon, sir? Na pending? 12 ba? Ano sabi niyo, sir?
Mr. Chair, it's hindi po. 21.1 billion po, hindi 12, ma'am.
Okay, 21.1
billion, ma'am. In process po.
21.1 billion in
21
process.
21.
Ilan dyan yung lahat ba niyan sa private hospitals?
Lahat na ito, ma'am. Private at saka government na po ito.
Okay, how much is for the private hospitals, sir?
Ma'am, hindi ko na kaya sagutin yan. So, I'll refer you to my IT, to my Dr. Pagi, please.
Yes po, Mr. Chair. Yes po.
Answer and address the chair.
Yeah.
Address the chair. Dr. Pagi, address the chair.
Yes po, Mr. Chair. 10 seconds po.
Out of the 21, how much is for the private and how much is for the government? May DOH dito, Chair.
Wala po. PhilHealth lang.
Okay. Sige. Sino yun? Magsasagot? Wala.
Hello, please introduce yourself, sir. The one, in charge of IT of PhilHealth. Please introduce yourself.
Yes po, Mr. Chair. This is Dr. Pagi po. Ito na
Dr.
po.
Pagi,
Yes po.
please answer the of
Yes po. Ito po. Let me present po.
I just need numbers, sir. Mawawala yung signal ko pag matagal yung interpellation ko. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah po.
Yes. Since natatagalan yung...
Yes po. Mr. Chair,
Yes, please answer immediately because the signal is of
Can I just...
Dr. Pagi, hello?
Sa bundok ako eh.
Yes po, sir.
Sir,
Ito po,
sir
sir.
or no?
It's saka the 99, ano po, sir?
Sagutin mo na lang po, wag na lang po yung slides. Okay lang. Verbal answer na lang po.
Sige po, sir.
I don't need the slides. I just need the answer.
Ma'am, can you repeat the question? Mukhang hindi niya na naalala eh. Can you repeat the question?
All right. While I don't 1 billion, how much is payable to the private and how much, actually private lang kailangan ko kasi the rest would be government. Simple lang naman sana eh. President, parang hindi marunong po in-assign niya.
The private. Yes, boss.
The private ano po?
Is around 10.6 billion for private.
So half of it is for private.
Yes
is that
po.
correct? Out of
Mr.
the
Chair.
21 billion. All right. So among your sa ano na lang sa Philippine Hospital Association, sir? Sir Almora ba yan, sir?
Yes, Dr. Almora, please respond. Dr. Jaime Almora. You are mute, sir. Nakamute po kayo. Nakamute kayo. Ayan.
As of now, wala pa po kaming complete na data. Pero if I will use the data of PhilHealth po, sa site ko lang po, yung total in-process payable nila is 12.9 and yung return to hospital is 9 billion. So making a total of almost 22 billion po. Hindi nila na-divide yung government and private parehas dito. Pero looking at the data and considering the claims for the big hospitals in Manila already, which has reached billions already, may 2 billion, may 1.5 billion, at may mga 720,000. Parang lumalabas po na maliit itong figure dahil mga urban areas sa mga different parts of the malalaking hospital, malalaki po yung collectible nila.
Now my concern, sir, is if you relate the private hospital service as against the totality, ilan ang percentage ng serbisyo ng ano? Is it 50% of the COVID cases go to the private or 70% or what?
60%. Private hospital comprises 60% of all the medical services po na dinideliver and 40% for the government.
So basically our COVID treatment or approach is basically dependent on the private institution.
Apo, 60% po comes from the private po.
I'll go back, Chair, to the president of PhilHealth. Sir, these hospitals that are parang ano, do you see them as your partners or do you see them as parang treatment nyo dyan? Gusto nyo yung bang continue sila or should we just stop with the private?
Hello, ma'am. Mama Sharon, off your video because the
full force and
garble
I don't understand the policy.
garble po yung transmission nyo, ma'am Sharon. Off na lang yung
Okay,
video.
is this better?
Better. Now better.
All right. Okay, ang tanong ko, ano ba yung treatment nyo, PhilHealth President, sa mga private natin? Do we want them to continue or we don't? Kasi parang how I see it in the news and the reaction of the private institutions, which is 60% of our COVID treatment, we seem to not be them. I mean, either way, I'll tulong ng private or puro na lang tayo government.
Hindi ko lahat na kuha yung sinasabi nyo, garbled, coming to me. Pero substantial narinig ko po. God bless us all, ma'am. Lahat ng hospital po, ma'am, kailangan namin. Lahat ng hospital po, ma'am, private or government.
Well, sir, it doesn't seem like it. Sinasabi niyo miscommunication lang. And you've been communicating for 12 meetings and you have not even proactively resolved the issue. Puro lang tayo, sige, kasalanan ko. Pero kahit sabihin yung kasalanan nyo, wala naman kayong ginagawa . And we are in the middle of a battle here and now you're taking away all our armory and everything. It's not like maghihintayin pa tayo way back before you're earning billions na . I don't understand. It's no excuse because it's our responsibility of PhilHealth, part of the government, our responsibility.
Mr. Chair,
it is not enough to say that it's my fault. It's the right thing to do is to do something.
Mr. Chair, we are doing a lot of things.
Not today, yesterday, or even a year ago, sir. No, you are not. You are not performing well. You had issues already 2 years ago. 70% of our sin taxes go to you. Tapos, now, you have all the money collected with increase in taxes so that we can support your company, so that we can push your services. Tapos kaya pala hindi pa rin magko-close pa rin yung mga hospital dahil wala pa rin silbi yung in-increase nating taxes. We fight so hard to increase taxes just for you, sir, so that you can serve the Filipino people. Pero wala pa rin . Magko-close na ang mga hospitals. Ano mangyayari sa atin yan? Mayayaman lang dito, PhilHealth lang dahil hindi sila magbabayad.
Mr. Chair, thank you for the question of Madam Congresswoman. Marami na po tayong ginawang hakbang po para po pagandahin ang ating sistema sa pagbayad. Ito na nga po, meron na tayong DCPM.
No, sir. Why are the hospitals threatening to close? Because you have not paid them. Dami pang kwento, dami pang ICT, ewan ko ba, ano pa ba yan? But you have not paid them and we are dependent on them. 60% of COVID cases go to them.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, it is not so exactly correct that we have not paid hospitals. Sa sinabi ko na po kanina, out of 170.2 billions total claims from year 2020 at saka 2022, out of 170 billion, ang nabayad po natin, sir, is already, Mr. Chair, is 132.5 billion. On record po yan. And ang natira po, yan lang pong 21.1 billions po. So not exactly now we do not
Mr.
pay.
Chair, I totally do not believe that, because why would we have a threat of hospitals trying to close down? What we are saying, if that is true, if that is totally true that we are compliant on our payments, then mga sinungaling pala itong mga hospitals na to. That is what PhilHealth is implying, that they have been performing well and etong mga hospitals na to are just claiming some nonsense kasi nakabayad naman kami.
I was informed.
Mr. Chair, I cannot continue because I'm on the road, but it's just that if performance, I've always repeated, if it is like this, we had issues of PhilHealth before, a year, 2 years ago, a year ago, and now we have another issue, very threatening to Mr. Chair about the threat of closing their hospitals in the private end. Kung ganyan lang naman, Chair, then I would even go further and like, we don't need PhilHealth. We might as well build our own hospitals, build better RHUs. Kasi mas mura pa sa atin kaysa mag-PhilHealth na lang tayo. Mas effective pa kung basic services ng health natin maayos natin, kasi sa PhilHealth now we are on an emergency kasi ayaw na sa atin magtrabaho ng mga private institutions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sharon Galin. I am with you in your frustrations as the chief person who lobbied and fought hard for the sin taxes to pass Congress, and now with the tax, 70% of the sin taxes going to PhilHealth for the purpose of being the backbone of our health system and financing it. It seems that it is not doing its job and its mandate. So we are here. We are here to flesh out how to help them, or if not help them, give recommendations, or if not give recommendations, ultimately it is the mandate of this committee to find if there is cause for misfeasance or non-feasance in PhilHealth. So let me first, before the second round, let me get the statement of Dr. De Grano of the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines. Dr. De Grano.
Okay. Good afternoon po, Mr. Chair, at saka sa lahat po to the honorable congressman. Ito po, ito naman sa akin kasi yung sinabi na po kanina ni Dr. Almora, nagko-concur po ako sa mga sinabi niya. Ito lang po points na gusto kong ipaalam dahil yung first one po, sabi ni President Hiran, hindi naman po niya sinagot yung commitment, Ang sagot po niya kanina na pagbabayad, ang sinagot po niya is DCPM. At sinabi na rin po niya na talaga yung mga aming ospital dito sa Batangas, hindi nila kinuha itong DCPM. Kasi nga hindi po kami naniniwala doon sa sinasabi ng DCPM na 60% na ibibigay. Although binibigay nga po nila, hindi naman po magastos ng mga ospital. Bakit po? Kasi wala pong attachment. Pag ginastos nyo po yan, ay paano nyo, yung portion po yan ng DCPM, may portion po yan ng professional fee, may portion po yan ng hospitals. So, paano nyo po i-apportion yung professional fee doon at saka yung hospital fees kung hindi nyo alam po anong kaso yung mga kino-cover nitong nitong DCPM na ito. Yun po. Isa po yun. Pangalawa po, sinabi po ni President Iran, with due respect, na yung pong TSPC ay hindi nagko-cover ng lahat ng kaso. Hindi po. Isang kaso nga lang po, cover niya lahat ng payments. Future, the past, and the present payments ay i-hold ng PhilHealth. So yun po, sasabihin po nila, ang kino-cover lang niya yung case or claim na fraudulent, hindi po yun. Ay ko-cover po niya lahat pong payments. Number 4 po, gusto ko lang sabihin, number 3 po, gusto ko lang sabihin yung kaso ng dalawang hospitals na members po namin na nag-close ang isa po ay nasa Samar, ang isa po ay nasa Davao del Sur. Pareho po itong run by religious groups. Ito po lang, katatawag ko lang po sila sa kanila At kinausap ko, ano ba talaga kung bakit ba kayo nag-close? Yung isa po, yung sa summer, January pa po nag-close. Yung temporary lang po yung closure, ano? Pero itong sa Dominica, yung ano po, yung sa Davao po, ay nag-close nitong August 1. At ang pareho po ang sagot nila. Bakit sila nag-close? Kasi hindi na daw po kaya ng mga hospital na i-sustain ang kanilang operations. Bakit? Ay kasi po, ang lahat po namin nagastos na sa mga hospital na pera namin para sa mga members ng PhilHealth ay hindi po na ibibigay sa amin. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila binabayaran. Ay hindi na po kaya ng mga kinikita namin ngayon ang pagsusustain po ng operation. Ang sinasabi pa rin po nila, ano ba naman sila? Sasabihin nila ay pinoprotektahan nila ang pera ng bayan. Ay pera ho ito ng ospital na ginastos namin para sa mga members ng PhilHealth. In-advance po namin ito. At ang katungkulan lang po ng PhilHealth ay ibalik sa amin yung mga ginastos namin. Yun po ang kanilang parehong sagot sa akin. At yung ang huli po ay yung pong sinasabi ng mistrust. Ano po? Ito po isasabihin na po namin kasi naglalabas po sila ng mga advertisement, ng mga poster ang nakalagay po doon ay nagkakakutsabahan daw po ang mga ospital at ang mga doktor para kumbaga sa linlangin ang mga tao, mag-up case. Yun po ba ang sinasabi nila na para maayos kami at ang aming partnership ay maayos? Ay samantalang ang ginagawa po nila ay binibigyan nila kami ng akusasyon kaagad na kami gumagawa ng mga ganitong panlilinlang. Yun po ba ang magiging premise namin para maayos itong partnership na ito? Sana naman po huwag nilang gawin yon dahil nakakasama po ito. Parang gusto nilang ituro na talagang sinasadya ng mga ospital na gumawa nitong mga fraudulent case. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you po, Dr. Rene De Grano, for your statement. Next, for the second round of interpellation, we go back to Deputy Minority Leader Stella Kimbo. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Alright, salamat Mr. Chair. Babalikan ko yung aking request for information. So kanina hiningi ko po yung aging of claims. Pero Mr. Chair, dati naman po kayong bankero, di ba? Bitin na bitin po kasi ang naka-indicate lang doon is below 60 days and above 60 days. Pwede po bang makahingi ng more detailed aging? Ibig sabihin, halimbawa, less than 5 days, claims na due 5 to 10 days, yung na-process na 5 days and below, yung na-process 5 to 10 days, 10 to 15 days, and so on and so forth. Para malaman natin yung buong distribution at makita natin, di ba, kung ano ba talaga ang ibig sabihin ng 44 days na average. Is that something po, Attorney Yaran, that you can give? A more detailed aging of claims.
Before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge DS West Gatchalian and Congressman Ino D. For being present. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we will comply with the request of the very good Congressman Stella.
Okay. May tanong din ako, Mr. Chair. Attorney Yaran, bakit po, pag meron kaming question tungkol sa claims, bakit niyo po binabato sa IT? Wala po ba kayong head of claims? I understand that the information is with IT. Pero kasi yung IT is IT. Taga-generate lang ng information, taga-collect, taga-ayos ng system.
Administrative, ang IT.
Tama po. Pero sa pag-analisa ng may problema ba sa claims, etc., dapat yung hepe ng claims ang sumasagot po. Hindi po ba? Sino po yun?
Philip Mabili, please reply.
Madam Chair, if I may, Mr. Chair, if I may, Attorney Santos, Mr. Chair, I'm the acting COO, Mr. Chair.
Attorney Santos, please brief us on the claims. Can it be 90 days?
Anong responsibilities?
180 days?
Okay.
Anong responsibility niyo po sa pagdating sa claims?
Mr. Chair,
Kayo po ba ang may command responsibility pagdating sa claims?
Mr. Chair, Madam Stella Kimbo, ako po yung acting COO po sa operations. So I'm handling the operations in the regions. So the RVPs are directly under me. Mr. Chair, Madam Stella Kimbo. So to explain why it is the IT who is furnishing the data on claims. The reason, Mr. Chair, Madam Stella Kimbo, is that we have a task force informatics that gathers all the data in all regions. And the task force informatics is headed by Dr. Benjamin Page. Dr. Benjamin Page and the task force informatics is under the IMS, or the Information Management System. The duty, Mr. Chair, Madam Stella Kimbo, of the task force informatics is to gather all the data that the regions are furnishing in terms of claims payment, processing, artage, and denied. It is for that reason that it is Dr. Benjamin Page, being the head of the task force informatics, who is being tasked to present the data on this.
Okay,
Mr.
but
Chair, Madam Stella.
to make it simple po, kayo po ba ang may responsibility pagdating sa claims?
As to the operations, Madam Chair, I am, but as to particular claims, I am not. We have a health.
So we have a problem here. We have a problem here, Attorney Eran. Sino ang pinaka responsible pagdating sa claims processing? Sa isang organization, hati-hati po tayo ng trabaho, di po ba? So pagdating sa claims processing, anong unit po ang may responsibility po dyan at sino po ang hepe?
Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, if I may, Madam Stella.
Sige po.
We have preemptive claims, Madam Chair, Madam Stella. May I refer you to Dr. Ele?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir. I'll present the data.
Hindi po, simple lang ang tanong ko. I want to know
yes.
Where does the buck stop pagdating sa claims? Sino may responsibilidad?
Ma'am, yes. According to Attorney Ilay po, tama po yun, ma'am. The TFI is responsible for extracting the data. But for claims also...
Hindi po data. Data is an admin matter, di ba? Pero explain to us, aling unit sa buong PhilHealth organization ang may responsibility sa claims processing. And therefore, kapag may delay, sila yung unang may responsibility yan.
Okay, ma'am. May I answer po? Ma'am, actually, it is under the pro region po yun. Pero sa central office, it's under my team po to check if yung claims is within the 1 to 15 days, 16 to 30 days, 31 to 45 days, and beyond the 60 days po. Ma'am, I can give you the data for the processing of claims.
Yes,
ma'am.
What is your position, sir?
Ma'am, I'm the head of the program management team for claims. I am under po the office of the OSVP for health, finance policy sector po.
Okay. So dapat pala ikaw ang sumasagot. Kasi pagdating sa mga problema in delays, dapat kayo may alam. Tama?
Sort of, ma'am, yes. Yung turnaround time na sa office po namin.
Yes or no lang po.
Yes,
Kaya tayo may
yes,
problema malaki dito kasi hindi maliwanag. Kung sino po ang may responsibilidad magdating sa pagbayad in a timely manner? So kayo, yes or no? Your responsibility.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, my office monitors the turnaround time po.
Okay, so you are aware of the situation, yes?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so ano ang sa tingin mong dahilan kung bakit po tayo delayed in payments?
Okay, ma'am. As what the PCO have said, ma'am, number one is yung ating IT system po, connection. Number two po is yung ating human resource complement po, ma'am. the number of claims increased, but yung ating human resource po maintain po since 4 years ago. Yun po, ma'am.
Kailan ninyo natuklasan na yan ang mga problema?
Ma'am, actually, it was already ina-address na po ni PCO. Actually,
Please answer my question po. Kailan ninyo natuklasan na yan ang mga problema? Last year? 2 years ago?
More on specifically this year po, ma'am. Because
At
yung
ano ang dahilan kung paano ninyo natuklasan? Did you conduct a study? Did you hire someone? Did you rely on ARTA?
It's based on the in-process claim and the number of HR po, ma'am.
So you did an in-house study, tama?
Yes po, ma'am. May mga ginawa po kami, ma'am.
So, I know that PhilHealth is 51 years old. And itong delay in claims is a decades-old issue. So on your 51st year of existence, saka nyo lang po natuklasan kung ano ang dahilan kung bakit tayo may delays in claims?
Dr. Jonathan, sinasabi niya,
was this ever a matter taken up by the board?
Tinatanong
Was this
ni
a
Madam
matter?
Stella, 51 years na daw tayo.
1969 kayo ang Medicare.
Madam Chair.
Pero naging PhilHealth noong 1995. O sige, kahit magbilang tayo since 1995. Matagal na kayo in existence. So ngayon nyo lang ginawa ang pag-aaral ng delays in payments? Was this a matter ever taken up by the board? Attorney Yaran, you've been a president for less than 1 year. Have you ever taken up this matter with the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pinag-usapan naman ito, Mr. Chair, sa board. Ang sa totoo lang po, kinakalampag kami lagi ni Secretary Duque na we have to increase, or rather, we have to improve our turnaround time. Pinagsasabihan po kami. At saka sa mga meetings po namin, ma'am, Mr. Chair, lagi ko in-emphasize ito. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chair, I have created a task force to monitor the fast tracking of payments. Alam po yan ni Attorney Eli na meron ako memorandum na inisyo tungkol po dyan, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chair, Attorney Yaran, so you are aware that merong ARTA law and that ayon sa batas, 30 days lang talaga dapat ang processing. Tama?
We know, ma'am, that there is that ARTA, ma'am, but sinabi kanina ni Attorney Jeremiah na ang sa amin kasi is 60 days. 60 days
Hindi
po sa
yun
amin.
na nga. Pero merong, yung 60 days po ninyo ay nasa IRR. So are you saying that your IRR trumps a law? Attorney Belhica, is that your opinion? Na despite the existence of the law that says hanggang 30 days lang kayo, an IRR can trump the ARTA law?
Thank you, DS, ma'am. Okay, so the processing time, ma'am, if there is a special law that provides for the specific period, then the special law should prevail over the ARTA law. But if the IRR is an initiative or it comes from the authority of the law, Madam Chair, then it has the force of the law. However, Madam Chair, if the IRR is without any basis in the law, Madam Chair, then the ARTA law will still prevail.
Sa aking pagkakaalam, walang 60 days sa batas. Yung NHI Act of 1995, pati yung Universal Healthcare Law. So sa aking palagay, hindi po ba dapat 30 days ang naka-indicate sa PhilHealth Citizen Charter rather than 30 days? In which case, hindi ba dapat 30 days ang magiging target ng PhilHealth rather than 60 days? May
Madam
we ask
Chair, yeah.
Secretary Bellica?
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, PhilHealth initially submitted a 23-day period, Madam Chair. But recently, I think they did revise their citizens charter to reflect the 60 days. There was actually a case that was filed in ARTA on this in this regard, and those issues actually came up. No, of course, we are asserting the 20 days, and I think the people or the lawyers engaged in the PhilHealth was asserting the 60 days. But however, Madam Chair, that issue became water under the bridge because the processing was even beyond 60 days. So ito po yun, and I think the legal opinion, they were requesting for a legal opinion on this. And I'm saying right now that there should be a special law actually that authorizes a different period. So yan po yun, ma'am.
Pero sa akin, Mr. Chair, tignan muna natin yung aging of claims, di ba? Ibig sabihin, kung kakayanin naman pala, if there are certain regions na kaya mag-process less than 5 days, or 5 to 10 days, or 10 to 15 days, why can't everybody else do it? Hindi ba ganun lang yung simpleng tanong? And going back to the point of Kong Marvy, ngayon po ay pandemic. So ang tanong ko, dun sa 9 steps na naka-indicate, is it possible, Attorney Yaran, na imbis na what do you call that, yung medical prepayment review, hindi pa pwedeng post-audit na lang? Ibig sabihin, you don't have, kasi ang findings ng ARTA is only 0.64% ang mayroong diagnosis. Can't we live with that data? Ibig sabihin, dapat panatag ang loob natin na maliit lang pala ang upscaling, if I'm using the jargon correctly, or wrong case, or upcasing, hindi po ba? So, baka naman pwedeng, for the expedited process, baka naman pwedeng post-audit na lang. Ibig sabihin, hindi 100%, maaaring 20% lang, audit type. Ibig sabihin, babalikan ninyo, with of course a proper medical team, at kung malaman ninyo na maling diagnosis ang nilalagay, malaki ang penalty. Hindi po ba pwedeng ganon, Attorney Yeran, rather than lahat ng claims ay dadaan sa isang masalimuot na medical review process, which may take, baka yun ang nagpapatagal. Kasi looking at the 9 steps, yun lang ang hindi quote-unquote mechanical. So siguro nag-raise ng hand si Attorney, si Secretary Bellica. Mr. Chair, baka we can hear from both Attorney Yaran as well as Secretary Bellica. Thank you.
Okay,
Ako muna. Ako
yes,
muna, Mr. Chair.
Yes, President Heran, you first.
Una-una, salamat po, Mr. Chair. Salamat po kay Madam Stella na sana magawa ng batas yan yung medical prepayment na yan para hindi na kami nakuha. Welcome, ma'am. Mr. Chair, welcome development yan. And then I'd like to restate again na yung 60-day na pagbayad or turnaround time ay nasa Section 23 po yan ng Batas 78-75, yung PhilHealth Charter po. Nasa batas po. Pero maximum po yun, di ba? Yes, ma'am. Kaya nga, ma'am, sabi ko, ma'am, kung pwedeng paanoin natin, ma'am.
Kayo na mismo nagsabi na kung 60 days yan, nakakapatay naman po siya ng ospital. Hindi po ba? Maliwanag na po yon sa lahat ng testimonies na nakakapinsala yung 60 days sa ating sektor. So, ayan naman, ayon sa batas, maximum. Hindi po ba?
Mr. Chair, if I may po, Attorney Roque, Mr. Chair, if I may be recognized, Attorney Gran, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Attorney Roque, you obeyed.
Yes, sir. Thank you po. Sir, ito pong ating 60 days, yes po, under the law po, nakalagay po yan, 7875. And then with regards naman po, sir, sa medical requirement.
Sa batas mismo.
Yes, sir, sa batas po. Sir, yun naman pong medical requirement, Mr. Chair, it is a requirement of our Commission on Audit to have that medical evaluation. We were really trying to streamline that process and possibly to remove that process. but very clear po ang aming mga requirements po ng COA sa amin on this. So we are really lobbying this with our COA that given that we are in unusual circumstances, Mr. Chair, that mabigyan din po kami ng somehow ng liberality when it comes to this processing of claims. Yes po, Chairman, Congresswoman
Ako,
Kimbo.
itanong lang ako, Attorney Emily Roque.
Yes, sir.
Gaano ka nakatagal sa PhilHealth?
Sir, around 20 years na rin po.
So all of that is in the legal department, correct?
Ang alin po, sir? Ang nasunod.
All of your services in the legal department?
All of our, sir, sorry po, nag-chat.
All of your years was served in the legal department?
Hindi po, sir. Iba-iba po kami from the fund management sector, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Ilan na bang kinasuhan ng PhilHealth ng mga hospital for fraudulent claims or ilang hospital in the last 5 years?
Yes, sir. I think I could defer to you, sir, the acting senior vice president of the legal sector. Nandito po sila and ready to provide you the data.
Okay. Ma'am Stella, one question lang before I let you proceed. The SVP for Legal Affairs, are you here?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Attorney Tolentino
Ilang
po.
hospital ang finailan nyo ng kaso for fraudulent claims the last 5 years?
Mr. Chair, I have with
From
me a record
21.
Per count po. For 2021, ang fraudulent ay 5,872 counts for 2021 ng fraudulent.
Then, yan ay mga findings. May kinasuhan ba kayo sa korte?
Sa po, ito pong record na itong mga na-file ng prosecution department namin sa adjudication department. 5,872 counts.
2020 yan. 2020 lang.
2021 po, August, as of August 2021.
From what date?
January to August 2021.
So 8 months lang, 8 months.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Can you give me a list yung the last kahit 4 years to furnish this committee? Yung mga list niyan kasi gusto namin makita kung gaano kalaki at saka kung ilang percentage of the total claims ang fraudulent. Okay? Okay ba yan, attorney? Pwede
Yes,
namin
Mr. Chair, would you want a breakdown ng fraudulent and non-fraudulent para mas or
Hindi,
yung percentage?
Yung percentage na na-adjudicate yung fraudulent sa hindi fraudulent.
Na-adjudicate na po, ibig sabihin po nagbista na yung Sige po, we will request with our adjudication department kasi hindi na po sa legal sector yun sa
Okay, hindi. Actually, yung tatlo na yon, yung meron pa lang kayong findings tapos yung na-adjudicate na. Kailangan namin ng data para malaman namin kung ilang percentage ba yung na-flag down nyo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ito po yung mga nakasuhan na po at pahan ng kaso at na-adjudicate.
Okay. Yes. Opo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We will submit, Mr. Chair.
Secretariat, our committee secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congresswoman Stella, please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So, kanina po, kung tama po yung pagkakaalala ko dun sa table ng aging ng claims, which is merong above 60 days, may below 60 days, kung tama, 55% ang natatandaan ko na beyond 60 days. Is that correct, Mr. Page?
Yes po, Madam Mr. Chair and Madam Kimbo. Can I present the slide again so that it's more accurate?
Yes. 55 ba?
Yes po. Ito po, 50% po.
So again, babalik tayo dun sa 60 days. Kung insistent kayo na sige, 60 days ang inyong target, bakit merong greater than 60 days na 55% or sorry, 52%? Ang dami naman nun, more than half will require you more than 60 days. Yan ang talagang hindi ko matanggap. So anyway, sana po kung ano yung necessary steps na kailangan gawin, including the hiring of additional manpower, where are we on that, Attorney Yaran?
Madam, Mr. Chair, the question of very good, Madam Stella. meron na pong ginawang rekomendasyon na mag-hire na po tayo ng mga dagdag na mga doctors, mga lawyers at iba pang mga discipline para po madagdagan po ang ating strength, personal strength dito sa Salamat ma'am sa pagtanong sa amin yan. And hopefully po maliban diyan sa personnel complement po, sana po mabili na namin po ma'am ang itong IT ko namin infra and IT infra. Maliban po doon sa pagtama po namin Mr. Chair, Madam Stella, maliban po doon sa pagtama namin sa mga tinatawag namin na policy gaps na nakikita po sa investigasyon nyo. We will do it, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, si Secretary Bellica is raising his hand.
Yes, Secretary Bellica, please, do you want to say something
Yes,
po?
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Stella, ma'am. Marami pong salamat. Okay po. So, may several recommendations siguro since this is also in aid of legislation. If I may just show my just one slide very quickly, can we just unshare it? Ma'am, ito po yung sinubmit sa amin during the hearing ng ARTA with Philhealth. I'll just show it. I don't know if you're seeing my slide now, but okay. So this is the pie chart, Mr. Chair, no? So the RTH, yung tinatawag pong return to hospital applications, ito daw po yung mga application na ibinabalik dahil sa pagkakamali po na nag-submit na institution. So the paid is 76%, 11% is in process, assuming na ito po ay nilang mababayaran. The 8% is the return to hospital, and the 3% is what was actually denied. So 3% po ang denied out of dun sa malaking pie, pero yung 8% return to hospital. So it's either sabihin ho natin kulang yung documentation, or sabihin po natin 8%, punong 8.3 na sinasabi ko nga po kanina, ay maaring baka maling diagnosis po na kino-confirm po nila. That's why Congresswoman Kimbo, I do second po yung sinasabi po ninyo. Ibahin ho natin yung process doon sa umpisa na yung pre-payment, medical prepayment process, gawin ho siyang documentary compliance. Ibig sabihin ho kasi, gawin siyang simple transaction lang, ministerial. Kompleto ang dokumento, nakita po natin yan. Then I would suggest that if there is a law that says within 3 days time, kinakailangan pong mai-release po, maari ho sigurong through DCPM yan, yung 60% within 3 days time. And then gusto ho yung within 20 days naman, pwede ho nilang i-evaluate yung tinatawag naman ho kanina na sinasabi natin na yung accuracy nung kanila pong diagnosis. Because 20 days naman po, according to the new ARTA law, is the highly technical ones. Ngayon po, pagka after ng 20 days po, no, yung 3 days, kompleto dokumento, release po natin. After 20 days, then pwede ho tayong full payment. Kapag ka hindi pa ho tapos ng PhilHealth yung kanilang evaluation, they could actually already release the entire fund. Now, because considering kung gaano kalaki lang po yung risk na atin pong mailalabas, ano po. Now, this does not negate that the post-evaluation na kinakailangan hong mangyari at yung filing ng cases kapag meron hong mali. Ngayon po, let us always bring to a point na yung mga pumipirma po kasi dito mga doktor na eh. I mean, they are licensed physicians with public licenses. That is, they're also putting in the line when they submit this. So we can actually exact accountability to them. And lastly, Madam Chair, and I do sympathize with President Hiran on this, because in our conversations, we try to broker a meeting with our good COA and also PhilHealth. Although sinabi ho talaga ng COA na si PhilHealth po talaga lang ang gumagawa ng policy they can do it basta kung yung policy na yan, dun ho magbe-base si COA sa kanilang audit report. Subalit, they are not that comfortable with the process ng DCPM. So we kind of understand yung hesitancy po ng PhilHealth dito. But if I may suggest, if there would be a legislation that would give them a cover, ibig sabihin, yan, basta documentary requirements, kompleto, simple transaction, 3 days labas namin yan kasi sinabi namang sa batas. I think that would allay a lot of concerns with COA, Madam Stella and Mr. Chair. And also, we will include this po in our recommendation. Thank you very much po.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask the Secretary a question? Sorry. In relation to what they said.
Okay, Congressman Marino, you may proceed.
Thank you. Sabi kanina, dun sa batas, nasa batas, 60 days. So how come we have more than 60 days? Ano naman yung pananagutan? Bakit tayo may cases ng more than 60 days? So, di ba meron na sa batas na so dapat policy na yon ng na wala ng over 60 days. So, either it is cases filed or release the payment.
Yes,
Di ba,
sir.
Secretary?
If I may answer, that is correct, Congressman, and I would want to say, sir, sorry, Mr. Chair. Yeah,
yes.
That is correct. I would want to remind the processors. Yeah, the 60 days sinasabi ho natin, kung yan ho ang nasa batas, then we would be exacting the 60 days from them. Ngayon po, doon ho meron ho sa amin isa or dalawa ho yatang nag-file with an affidavit on this. It was acted upon. So ARTA immediately called the attention and issued a resolution, and it was paid by PhilHealth. So during the meeting din po namin doon po sa ating mga health facilities, we also encourage them to submit to us any of these aging claims. Kasi though we are helping in our empowerment function to streamline, pero yun amin pong enforcement function kasi tuloy-tuloy pa rin po yan. So tama po kayo doon, Congressman, the 60 days should actually be followed.
That will resolve most of the cases here. Kung wala na tayong 60 days, So just one last comment, Mr. Chairman. Sana naman po yung mapag-usapan dito na improvements and plans, mag-reflect naman po sana yan doon sa budget proposal ng 2022. Kasi mahirap naman po sasabihin natin we will hire extra doctors, etc. Tapos hindi naman po naka-reflect pala doon sa budget na proposal ng 2022. Parang wala pong mangyayari. Sana naman po lahat ng sinabi natin dito ma-reflect doon sa budget proposal ng PhilHealth, and we will look into that when it comes to the budget presentation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Kong. Ma'am Stella, you may proceed, Congresswoman.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I completely agree with Rep. Marvy. 52% based on their own data, yung more than 60 days. Diba? So kung nag-iisip po tayo ng basis for...
Violation na yun ng kanilang law.
Kung naghahanap po tayo ng grounds, di ba, kung may problema ba, di ba, may nonfeasance ba dito, etc. That's one thing that we have to look into. And then, isang last question na lang po, pasensya na po, Mr. Chair. Doon po sa second resolution ko, I want to ask PhilHealth kung ano na po yung status ng compliance nila doon sa special provisions sa 2021 GAA for PhilHealth, na kung saan hinihingan sila ng management audit report. Kasi kung naalala po ninyo, last year, because of this investigation of this committee, ang nangyari po is, I think marami pong officials na nasuspend, marami din nag-early retirement. So nawalan talaga ng napakaraming, unfortunately, officials dito sa PhilHealth. So it would be good to know kung ano na po yung status ng management audit na required po silang gawin. That's number one. Number two, kung pwede rin nilang i-share kung they have already contracted a third party to do actuarial projections or to help them with their actuarial projections. Baka they can also share the findings of that, Mr. Chair.
Yes, President Haran, please respond.
Philhealth family, please answer.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, yes po.
Neri Santiago po from the Actuarial
Please,
Department po.
have you complied with the provisions of the Bayanihan and the management, what do you call this, audit?
Audit.
Yes, and the actuarial projections study, have you complied with that?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Madam Congresswoman Stella Kimbo. No? Regarding the review of the audit, there's an ongoing audit of the Insurance Commission, and they have given us the partial results of the audit. Maybe I think we can share with you if the management would allow us. They have partially given their recommendations on the audit that they are doing.
Yes, I would. How long is this? Are you prepared for the presentation or no?
They have just given us po yung partial results.
The next hearing would be on September 2, next Thursday. Can you comply with the request of Representative Kimbo on her the management audit findings and the consultations on the actuarial projections of PhilHealth?
Okay,
and also,
sir.
and also to give a briefing also on the status of social health programs administered by PhilHealth in the next hearing.
Okay po, sir.
Okay. Please.
Sa next hearing na lang po.
Next hearing. Para medyo para complete, hindi tayo pa konti-konti piecemeal lang bigay. Dapat kumpleto po.
Okay po.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congresswoman Stella.
Isang request na lang po kasi kanina sinabi nga po ni Attorney Hira na 21 billion yung unpaid claims. Naalala ko po si Dr. Jaime a few days ago in one of the hearings, nabanggit po niya is 86 billion. So baka naman pwedeng i-request din natin si Dr. Jaime na isubmit din niya sa ating committee para malaman natin ano ba talaga. Is it closer to 21 billion? Is it closer to 86 billion? Para din meron tayong basis to assess kung nasaan ba talaga ang correct unpaid claims.
Dr. Jaime Almora, you've been raising your hand. Do you have anything to say, or what can you say about the suggestion of Representative Kimbo? Hello, Dr. Jaime?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, the figure that I presented in the Health and Demographics Committee of the 86 million is a data from PhilHealth, which is a total of the in-process, the return to hospital, and the denied claims, because this is the amount that has not reached the hands of the hospitals. However, the spokesperson of PhilHealth said that that data is erroneous and gave me another data, which is about one-third lower. So yun lang po, ginagamit lang po namin yung figure nila. And ayun po, may bago silang figure which is let me look at it again. Ang sinasabi po ngayon na total ng is about 27.9 billion po. Iyan po yung sinasabi. But again, that is coming from their data. Pero po, I was raising my hand a while ago po because I want to share an information which might give another angle into answering the question, ano ba talaga ang dahilan, ano ba talaga ang problema kung bakit na-delay. And ito po ang galing sa mga tumatawag sa akin ng mga hospital trying to find a reason kung bakit na-delay talaga, kasi ang problema po talaga dito ay hindi pagkabayad ng COVID cases, yung total lack of processing po ng COVID cases until May from the start since March 2020. So Ang dumarating po sa akin na sinasabi nila na possible na, 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 na problema to explain yung non-processing ng COVID claims ay yung nabdemanda ng mga PhilHealth personnel doon sa Cebu because of a COVID claim na binayaran nila, for which yung COVID claim yata na yan turned out later na RT-PCR negative. And therefore, cases were filed against 9 personnel. I don't know po kung totoo yan. And with the hospital, kinasuhan nyo parang collusion po yata. And because of that, there were mga dumarating sa akin na sinasabi na baka lang naman takot yung mga regional offices, yung mga officers ng region, kaya totally na hindi nila pina-process yung claims. At natatakot lang naman silang magsalita dahil siyempre ang nagkaso kasi is yung mga taga-NBI. Former NBI director po ang ating PCO, kaya parang hindi sila nagsasalita. Kasi kung nakakapagtaka po talaga na until April or until now po, wala talagang sinasabi na reason kung bakit pinabayaan talaga yung COVID claims. Pina-process naman yung mga non-COVID although delayed yung mga pag-process, pero pina-process yung mga non-COVID. So yan po yung isang anggulo na it might help to explain kung bakit despite yung pag-meeting ni PCO sa mga regional offices at alam po naman namin, naririnig naman namin na sinasabi niya sa kanila na magbayad sila, bakit hindi pa rin pina-process? At ang isang nakakatakot po ngayon kung totoo yun, and it may be worth exploring dahil nga although yung mga circumstances po kasi surrounding it na after na yung kaso na yon sa Cebu na na-file, parang totally na tumigil po yung processing ng COVID claims. So yun po yung circumstance surrounding it which may give credence doon sa mga sinasuggest na possible na reason. Now itong lumabas po kasi na Circular 2021-0013 which is yung temporary suspension payment to claim, which they will suspend yung payment pag may nakita silang fraud. Medyo dito rin po kami natatakot dahil pag totoo na takot pa rin itong mga regional officers sa pag-process ng COVID dahil baka sila maidemanda rin na kagaya sa Cebu, baka ito po yung gamitin nilang reason na hindi magbabayad dahil takot sila na baka may makita na fraud kasi ini-impute na may mga fraud doon sa mga claims na yan. At lalong matakot itong mga taga-regional offices kasi sila po ang nagbabayad sa amin hindi naman nanggagaling sa central office. Baka lalo silang matakot na magbayad at lalo silang i-hold, lalo silang hindi na i-process because the possibility na mademanda rin sila dahil mga fraudulent cases na yan daw. So, yun doon po kami natatakot and it may be is worth looking into this angle because maybe the PCO himself doesn't know about this kasi takot naman silang magsalita kung totoo yung na yun ang dahilan. Siyempre hindi po alam ng ating PCO yan dahil takot sabihin sa kanya. So possible na innocent talaga ang ating PCO dito kung bakit hindi gumagalaw yung mga regional offices natin. Yan lang po. I am just sharing that information po just to look at a different angle kung bakit po itong mga nadidelay na claim. Hindi ko po sinasabi na totoo, basta yun po ang sinasabi sa akin ng mga tumatawag sa akin. Maraming salamat po.
Representative po, please proceed.
Mr. Chair, Attorney Rocky po, acting senior. Yes, sir. Just a short rejoinder lang po, Mr. Chair. Yes, sir. We may admit, sir, we can admit, sir, that may mga delays po kami sa COVID, processing ng COVID-19 cases, no? But while we will be taking yung manifestation po ni Dr. Almora on this, as mentioned, gusto ko lang po i-emphasize na ang one of the reason po na nagkaroon po ng delay po ang aming COVID-19 payment ay yung pong may mga policies po kami na kailangan pong ilabas, na i-amend para po mas maging maganda po yung proseso ng pagpo-process ng COVID claims. Kagaya po ng mga ospital, this is the first time din po na nagkaroon ng experience nila na may pandemic. Ganon din po ang PhilHealth, We're still in the process of studying all the policies and improving the same without of course compromising ang mga requirement po ng COA. So, sir, ang aming pong mga regional offices, no, guided po sila sa mga bagong policies po na lumabas sa amin. And we're expecting under the management of President Giran na mag-improve na po ang processing ng COVID claims. No, yung pong aming nakikita rito this coming days dahil halos na-resolve na po namin lahat yung mga issues ng policy on the COVID claims. We will be really monitoring on the part of the Bureau of Management on the turnaround time of the processing of this, sir. Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.
May I add to that, Mr. Chair? Attorney Santos, Mr. Chair.
Santos, CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just want to inform the committee that President and CEO Dante Geran issued a memorandum to address this delayed or non-payment of COVID claims. He issued a memorandum, Mr. Chair, to all regional offices to expedite payment of these claims and not to deviate from the rules or policies on COVID claims, Mr. Chair. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, CEO Eli Santos. Madam Stella, do you have any more questions to propound? Hello?
Chair, that will be all. I'll wait for the next hearing na lang po after we get the submissions po.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any more members who wishes to interpellate? There being none, may I remind the resource persons to comply with the requested submissions and to take note of the suggestions and recommendations of members. We will follow up on these matters through our committee secretariat. And President Garland, I wish to remind you that you committed by the end of next week that all the claims will be wiped out. I hope you follow through with your promise, sir.
On the DCPM mode of payment, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is there any motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Thank you. As there are no other matters for discussion, the meeting is now adjourned. I will see you in the next hearing next Thursday. Maraming salamat po sa inyong suporta at pakikiisa sa gawain ng Kongreso. Maraming salamat po.